So preferences are basically a cultural thing. So we don't need to manage preferences. What we need to manage is, especially in a industry like Diageo, what we need to manage is the consistency and quality that we give across the markets, across preferences. So that's what we do through our processes, through our standards, and through our technology. So we need to ensure that the technology that we have globally is the same that we have in India. The grains that we use globally should be the same that we use here. The policies that we have globally, whether to use a non-GM grain for our scotch or to use let's say a particular variety of barley for our scotch, is something that we have to be consistent about, and that depends on the willingness of the company to do it. It's not only about cost, it's also about our passion towards our customers that we have to work on. See, material planning is basically a derivative of whatever happens upstream. Basically your sales, which is your demand planning, and the production that happens basis that demand planning. So with it being at the almost towards the end of your supply chain or your planning process, a lot of variabilities tends to get compounded across demand planning, across production planning. So this is something that we try to reduce. So that's where AI comes in with respect to bringing in more accuracy for demand planning, and then with and your inventory management models for which we use AI. How much to produce? The AI tells us how much to produce, what to produce, and where to produce it. And that's a very important decision for us, because the differentiation in materials come from these decisions. So that's where I think Diageo, I wouldn't say we are pioneers, but we are moving towards a very AI-driven decision making, which helps eliminate errors, which is actually the bane of material planning. I mean, if you remove all variabilities, material planning is easy. It can be done by any system or maybe maximum 2 or 3 people. But then these variabilities are the things that AI needs to manage, and we are using that. Basically, what we are trying to do with AI is to manage the variabilities and to read these variabilities, so that to give the material planning team the insights that it needs to have at the right time. For example, I need to know how much of let's say grains I need for this year's production for something that I'll be maturing and using 3 years later. So these decisions involve a lot of variabilities. When you have a time period as big as 3 years, you have a lot more variabilities that come in, including consumer trends. So that's where we have multiple AI tools which try to predict the consumer trends 3 years in advance. So predicting a consumer trend 2 months in advance is a big thing, but predicting something 3 years in advance is a little bit beyond what normal human beings can do. See, generally we say art surpasses cultures, surpasses languages. So similarly, data is the universal truth. So you don't have cultures coming into data. You don't have preferences coming into data. You don't have bias coming into data. Data is pure and unique. So that's something that I realized is what we have to focus on. The rest falls into place. So what we have to ensure is there is sufficient data transparency between the regions that we handle, because that's the biggest impediment. There is some information that our global partners have that we don't have. There's some information that I have that our global partners don't have. How do we marry these two information together is what we'll be looking for.